All right guys, so in today's video, I'm gonna talk to you about how to make a tech pack the easy way. There's a lot of people making videos on how to make tech packs and stuff, and they're these like 10, 15, 20 page documents that are super complex for like a graphic t-shirt, for example. You don't need all of that extensive fucking info to make a tech pack and to communicate clearly to a manufacturer. The more simple, clear, and concise your tech pack is, the easier your manufacturer is going to be able to read your design, basically see your vision, and be able to make your sample as best as possible. If your tech pack sucks, bro, you're going to be spending a lot of money on samples and getting really shitty samples in return. So I want to save you guys from that headache.
We're gonna jump right into it. Again, this is a very simplified tutorial. I'm gonna show you exactly what to do if you have zero design skills. Guys, I wanna emphasize too, I had no experience at all, like making clothes. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years now, but at the beginning, I was so overwhelmed with this process, like I had no idea what to do. So, I mean, that's part of the reason why I made this channel and I'm making all these videos. First of all, let's talk about what you're gonna need to create a tech pack. So you're gonna need 3 things here. You're gonna need a design software, you're gonna need a 2D mockup, and some design references. Design softwares, let's talk about it. I'm using Illustrator, and that's what I just use to design on. I started out with zero experience on this platform. I used to think it was very overwhelming, but now I pretty much use it every single day, and it's such a great platform. If you have a laptop, you should just learn how to use Illustrator, especially if you're trying to build a brand and you're trying to become a designer. These are just essential skills to have. Now, when it comes to other softwares, you can use Google Sheets or Excel. Some people use Canva. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Canva. It's good beginner software, but I feel like if you want to become a designer and a brand owner, which most of you guys watching this video probably are, I would recommend just learning Illustrator. So a 2D mockup is a digital drawing of your designs. And 2D as in it's just a flat drawing. As you guys can see right here, I'm gonna model this video off of these sweatpants that I made, and this is the drawing. It's a pretty simple design. Now look at the product. And I use this 2D mockup to create this product and these photos. You don't need anything crazy, man. This is a very, very simple 2D mockup. Yeah, you can go crazy on these if you want, but at the end of the day, you just need something to just show your manufacturers. And this is where references come in. References are probably the most important thing because these are the actual images that you're gonna use to show your manufacturer what you mean and what you really wanna create. And I mean, if you're doing jeans, there's references on the wash, the buttons you wanna do, the leather patches, all that kind of stuff. All right, so that's pretty much everything you're gonna need. Now going into the next step, I'm gonna call this step number 1 of making your tech pack. You wanna know exactly what you're trying to make. How can you make a tech pack if you don't know what you're trying to make? A hat design or shoes or socks or whatever you wanna make, jewelry. A manufacturer is not just gonna read your mind and know what you wanna make. You have to show them, you have to know exactly what you're trying to do. Now, the second thing, like the main step here is now you're ready to structure out your tech pack. What do I mean by structure? There are so many examples online of different tech packs and different ways to do it. I've bought a lot of tech pack templates online. This is just what works for me, and honestly, it's more than enough, especially for a relatively simple product. So this is a 5-page structure that you can follow. Very simple. Page number 1, your mockups. Page number 2 is your callouts. Page 3, your graphics and logo specifications, also known as your artwork. Page number 4 is your branding and tags. Page number 5 is your measurements. So after you figured out exactly what you're trying to make, you've also kind of figured out your structure of your tech pack. Now it's time to actually make it. So let's dive into it. Here we go. First page, mockups. So as you can see, I am sharing these sweatpants with you. Pretty much you're gonna put exactly what you wanna make here. This is really your first page. It's your first impression in a way. It's the first thing that the manufacturer sees so they can get an idea of what you wanna create. So if you're doing like a hat, for example, you wanna have your front, back, side views, maybe bottom view as well, and top view. For something like sweatpants or like a t-shirt or a hoodie, unless there's some really intricate details on like the side or you have like a big sleeve graphic or something like that. But again, this is not like the details. This is really just like your first page. You can see I put like my brand logo up here. I put page 1, I put what this page is specifically for. So as you can see here, it says mockup. I put company, designer, description, size range, date. There's a lot of things you can put here. You can also put like season, for example. So like season fall winter 25. Like, as I already dropped these, but I guess I'll just put like fall winter 24. Okay, now there's two ways to go about actually creating your mock-up. You can either do it yourself and learn how to do it yourself, or you can pay someone to do it. Now, if you're gonna do it yourself, there's also a bunch of mock-up packs online that you can buy. They're pretty cheap. They're like, I don't know, between like $30 and $50 probably. And you get like a huge variety. Like, for example, let's go here, Siegs. I know this guy has good mock-up packs. I have one of them personally. Let's see, Ultimate Mock-up Pack, $40 Canadian. And there's like, it says there's 2,100 plus mock-ups. I think that's pretty worth it, to be honest. That's a way to learn yourself. You just buy a mock-up pack and then you kind of base it off of there. It's very editable. You can like change the colors and add graphics and things like that. So it's a lot easier to do that if you actually have a mock-up pack. If you're doing it from scratch, you can basically just like trace a hoodie or whatever you're trying to make. The other way is you actually pay a designer to do this. I mean, that's a good route. You could definitely do that. But again, I always recommend like trying to learn these softwares, trying to learn Illustrator, because it is such a great skill and tool to have. So page number 2, we got callouts. Now, this is like a really important page because it's every single thing that you're gonna call out about your design. I have certain tech packs that have like 5 pages of call outs, or they'll have like call outs and materials and all the details, because maybe I just want like 1 page specifically just to communicate what fabric I'm trying to use. So I use up the entire page for that. But for the sake of this video, I just wanted to make it really simple and kind of just squish everything into 1 page. Obviously, when you have more complex designs, then that's when you're gonna have more pages for your call outs and materials. And you know, some people, as you can see here, fabric and print details. I have my call outs here of like fit reference, drawstring details, raw edges at cuff, thick waistband, key loop detail. You can structure this however you want, but I just put like some simple notes there at the front, and then I put the call outs. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can kind of like number your call outs if you want. I mean, this is just like an easy way to go about it, because you got to remember, you're communicating with a manufacturer. So the more simple you make it and easier to understand, the better. You can also add like actual fabric swatch. You can go on swatchon.com, which is a great resource. Swatch on. You can find tons of different fabrics on here, like French terry, cotton. There's gonna be like so many. Look, there's like so many different French terry. So let's say you want to do like this gray heather type fabric. You could just screenshot this and just use that as your reference. Another thing you could do is go on Essence, for example. Let's say there's like a hoodie that's gray that you want to recreate. So you can just kind of browse and you can be like, oh, this ERD hoodie is like the one I want to replicate in terms of like the fit. So you can screenshot this and you can use that as your fit reference, or maybe it's like the screen print detail that you like here. So like when it comes to references, you just kind of got to like make sure you save the right references, and then you can actually add those to your tech pack. So for example, it's like screenshot this, boom. Now I'm coming into here, and I'm just gonna like, let's say, drag this into here, and let's say instead of raw edges at cuff, I just do like screen print detail reference or something like that. You know, this is still pretty vague because I'm just like, is it the color that we want to recreate? So you want to be specific, right? Maybe it's the exact color and like sort of vintage fade you're trying to replicate. So you're gonna go screen print detail reference, same red color, and then you can go distressed vintage style graphic. Boom, like something like that, right? So the point is, you just want to put your reference and you want to be as specific as possible with your reference, and basically just describe exactly what you're trying to reference from this photo. So that's your call out page, probably the most important. Now, next thing, we got page number 3, which is our graphics and logo specifications. So you got your graphic here, whatever your graphic is, you want to make sure you put that there. You want to put like the measurements of your graphic. You can put The screen print color, here it says white. I think it was because it was for my other colorway. So this is a good example. Screen print color, black. Can't spell. There you go. Now the manufacturer knows exactly what your graphic is, the sizing of it, and the screen print color, etc. Now, one thing I could have added here to make this tech pack a little better is the actual placement of the logo on the sweatpants. If you just show the sizing, for example, then they're probably gonna like look at your mock-up and sort of estimate. So if you wanna be very particular and specific, you could basically go here, put the graphic here, put it here, and then maybe put like a line from the waistband down, and you could say I want it 20 inches from the bottom of the waistband or something like that. Now going on to page number 4, we got branding and tags. So this could be your tags, your packaging, whatever else you want to include. It could be your care labels. I got my tag design, all the details, and with the measurements as well. Now the last page, and again, this is probably equally as important as your callouts, is your measurements, because at the end of the day, this is gonna dictate the fit of your garment. Now, if you don't care about the fit of your garment, then you probably shouldn't be making clothes, because this is a very important aspect about making good clothing. Now this is a very simplified page. You could probably add some more measurements. Again, I'm just using this as a simple reference. I got things like your waist, length, inseam. You just want to put your 2D mock-up here. Yes, mine is a little bit different than my first page. Doesn't matter, you can just put the exact same one. And you just want to put your measurements there. Now you may be wondering, where do I even get these measurements? Well, the best way to get measurements for a garment is your own closet. Let's say you have a pair of sweatpants that you want to replicate and that you love. Maybe you don't love the waistband and the color of your sweatpants, but you love everything else about it. You love the fit, and you want to replicate the fit. You just want to make your own design. You can basically just lay your sweatpants on the floor, measure everything, and make your own. Then you have all the measurements you need to create your measurements page on your tech pack. Now, if you don't have measurements, I would recommend either going thrift shopping or purchasing a product that you really like from a different brand and just replicating it. Another way you could do this is going online and trying to look for size charts, but you're not going to get that many measurements from doing that. So the best way is to actually have it in person to take the measurements from. So we pretty much went over the entire how to make a tech pack tutorial. Some last tips and recommendations for you. Number 1, I would recommend making a template, a base template that you can use so that whenever you're trying to make a design or a tech pack, you can pull that file up and you can just drag and drop. That's what I do. That's what helps a ton. Second tip, I already said this, but take the time to learn Illustrator. It is such a good skill to have. It's such a great tool, especially if you're really trying to do this and become a designer or become a brand owner. You pretty much need that skill. So take the time to learn it. Third tip is just keep practicing, man. This shit does not happen overnight. You don't just learn it like that. Like, you don't just run a marathon overnight. You got to do a 5K first, you got to do a 10K, and then you kind of work your way there. So just keep practicing. And then lastly, don't overthink it as well. If you're trying to make a garment, I've done this before where I have spent months just thinking about a design because I just didn't know how to like make a tech pack, and it was so overwhelming. After you watch this video, just get it done. Put your head down for a couple hours, just learn it, get it done, start communicating with manufacturers. Don't overthink it. You're gonna improve as you go. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. If you liked the video, subscribe. I got a ton more content coming about how to build a brand, how to design clothes, how to do all this kind of stuff. Save this video for later, lock in, and get to work. All right, I'm done. Peace.